Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here, the lab coat's on back order, and it's time for this week's Pokemon Omega Ruby Rotation Battle team building video. Now, last week, or about 2 weeks ago, I had a request from a viewer to go for a Mega Slowbro for the team. However, I wasn't able to do it just yet, because I did have to prepare for the Kanto Classic for last week's videos. This week, however, I am going to bring Pinky, my Slowbro, plan to make him a Mega Evolution Slowbro, and see what I can assemble for a team to help him get some victories in the rotation battles in Omega Ruby. So with all that being said, let's get right into the team building aspect right now, see who I've assembled to help Pinky get some victories this week. Let's begin. So yes, headlining the team this week is Pinky the Slowbro as team captain. He's an adamant Pokemon, which isn't necessarily the best nature that he could have. It actually increases physical attack while lowering special attack, and you'll see from the super training I'm bringing him as a special offensive Pokemon this week. But it is the nature that he has, and maybe someday I'll actually try to use him as a physical variant, because I've seen some people do things like Curse and Trick Room to turn a Slowbro into a physical offensive Pokemon. But for this week he is specially based, and he has the Oblivious ability, which says he will not fall to any Attract or Taunts, which is pretty cool. Originally, back in the earlier generations, Oblivious only protected you from Attract, and Taunt would still go through. So I like the little buff that they gave it, made it a little more versatile to be used, I suppose. And of course, the item he's holding is the Slowbro Knight. I'm going to Mega Evolve into Mega Slowbro on the battlefield, and the ability then becomes, I think it's Shell Armor that it gets, meaning that the Mega Slowbro cannot be hit by a critical hit. You're never going to get these criticals through, so what I have seen people do, they will set up a Mega Slowbro with things like Iron Defense and Amnesia, getting those defenses up really high, make it so that you can't smash through that. They're going to just tank as many hits as possible. I've got a little different idea in mind since this is a rotation battle, as you'll see as I explain the movesets of the entire team. So Pinky himself has Scald and Psychic, both stab, both have some good secondary effects. The Scald is more useful because it's more likely to happen. You'll get the burn on the opponent. Psychic, you could drop the special defense of the target, and I think it's a 10% chance to do that, but we're not going to rely on that. We'll probably rely more on the Scald, but of course if we see any Primal Groudon, we're not going to be able to make use of that because of the Desolate Land. Now, when you're going to have a Mega Slowbro and you're setting up the defenses, you want to have a healing recovery move, and that's where Slack Off comes in handy. It is a natural move that Slowbro can learn, so I just went back to the move tutor and taught it back to him. As you're setting up your defenses, you can heal up 50% of your HP by using Slack Off for the turn. And instead of going Amnesia or anything for the other defenses, I decided to go Calm Mind. It's going to boost the special defense by 1 stage, but it also increases special attack by 1 stage as well. And you'll see from the rest of the team I've got other ways to improve the special defense of the team. So for Pinky Super Training, we maxed out his special attack stat and put a good amount into both of the defense and special defense. At level 100, we got his defense up to 259 and special defense is up to 200. So the next Pokemon on the team, you can't have Pinky without the Brain. That's right, I'm bringing my Hypno the Brain. Usually I don't like to bring a Pokemon on the team that has the same weaknesses as the Mega Evolution for the team, but I kind of can't bring Pinky and not the Brain. They just go hand in hand. So the Brain is a serious Pokemon, which is a neutral nature. Nothing increased and nothing dropped. He has the Insomnia ability, so if we happen to come across any Darkrai in the rotation battles, the Brain is going to be our way to deal with that. If they go for the Dark Void, it will have no effect because Insomnia keeps this Pokemon from falling asleep. And you'll see we have something we can kind of deal with that Darkrai a little bit. The item we're holding for the Brain is Leftovers, because he's more on the defensive side, and he's going to be able to heal up some HP every single turn, as long as he's not knocked out, of course. Now, for the moveset, we already had Psychic on Pinky, so I decided to go Psy Shock on the Brain. I wanted a stab move, and it's going to be interesting if I use both Pinky and the Brain in the same fight, because if the opponent is more specially defensive, I can use the Brain Psy Shock, which hits on the physical defense of the target. If they're more specially defensive, more physically defensive, I can bring Pinky up, go for the special defense targeting Psychic attack. So we have Low Sweep. As I mentioned at the end of the Kanto Classic and in my sort of afterthoughts, I found speed control is actually a pretty interesting way to play the game, and it's kind of one of the things that I try to go for, trying to control the opponent's speed and get your own Pokemon faster than them. That way you're going to land your hits before they do. So Low Sweep is a fighting type move that does lower the speed of the target, and if we do encounter a Darkrai, it will be super effective, dropping the speed, and the Brain himself probably won't outspeed a Darkrai after 1 or 2 Low Sweeps. It might take more than that, but if I can slow that thing down, a faster Pokemon this week can actually swing up and get the KO perhaps. So he also has Telekinesis, which is a move he learned in Gen 5, and it's a move he can't actually get back because it's no longer a TM. And the way it works is, You use telekinesis on the target, it hurls them into the air, it grants them basically the levitate ability and no guard ability as well. What that means is ground attacks will no longer hit them for 3 turns while telekinesis is active, and every move except I think the one-hit KO moves will land with full accuracy. So it's going to render them vulnerable to whatever you have. It's not no guard in the sense that any move that they use is going to be fully accurate, just moves used against them. Now, for one way to get the defenses up this week, I did teach Reflect to the Brain. I can bring him up, put the Reflect up. When I bring Pinky back up, the opponent is not going to be able to critical hit through that Reflect. So that's going to be a good way to get the defenses going. For the Brain Super Training, I put a lot into the special attack to power up that Psyshock. I didn't put anything into the physical attack, because Low Sweep isn't a move we're going to focus on getting some KOs with. It's more of a technical kind of move, just for the speed drop. So I did put a lot in special attack, I put a lot into the defense, and some into the special defense as well. And when we get that Reflect up, we're going to be able to increase our defense even more. So the next Pokemon we're bringing for this week to help Pinky the Mega Slowbro is one of our Kanto Classic champions right here, Arbok. Now see, Arbok is a hardy Pokemon, which is also a neutral nature, much like the Brain's serious nature. He has the Intimidate, so whenever he comes out of the Pokeball on the battlefield in the active spot, he will drop the attack stat of the opposing Pokemon in the active spot. As I've said in many weeks before, if I'm going to bring Arbok into the battle, I might as well lead with him, because if I bring him in one of the 2 reserve spots on the rotation platform, Intimidate does not activate, and it doesn't activate when I rotate him up. So the only way to make use of that is to send him out first. Of course, I can always rotate anyone else up that I want to as soon as I get that Intimidate drop. And the item is Black Sludge. You're going to be able to heal back some HP every turn. Arbok has some defensive investment, as you'll see, so he might take some hits and heal back a little bit with the Black Sludge. Now for the moveset, again, speed control. You'll see I'm going to Poison Jab is just a move for stab and could poison. Enough said. For speed control, we have Glare. Anything but a ground even ground type. Anything but an electric type, we're going to be able to glare and paralyze, thereby cutting its speed by, I believe, down to 1/4, 25%. So at that point, the rest of my team should outspeed whatever it is, except maybe Pinky. But anyway, he also has Ice Fang. I taught him that just in case we deal with any Mega Rayquaza, we can get some super effective damage off. And of course, the Delta Stream will weaken the Flying type weakness to Ice, but it is still Dragon type, so Ice Fang will still be super effective. Don't think it's going to really make that much of a difference in the battle, but I didn't have anything else to really teach Arbok this week. I decided let's just go for some super effective on any possible Mega Rayquaza. Now for more speed control, anything but a Flying type or a Levitate Pokemon, I can use Bulldoze. It's not super powerful, it's 60 power, but it always drops the speed of a target when it hits. So if Arbok slows things down with Bulldoze or Glare, some of my other Pokemon might be able to outspeed on the following turns when I rotate them up. Now for the super training, I did max out Arbok for speed. This is the same super training he had in the Kanto Classic. I put a lot into the special defense and the remainder into the physical defense, because as I say, with the Intimidate, he's going to lower the attack set of the opponent, therefore we don't need as much defensive investment as we need special. Now the 4th Pokemon on the team for the week is going to be another Kanto Classic champion, Zapdos. And I say champion with sort of air quotes because we broke even on our battles, but he is still one of our, we'll call him the Kanto Classic warrior. So he has a Jolly Nature, which actually lowers his special attack stat, which isn't super good, but it does increase his speed, which is alright with me. And he has the Natural Pressure ability, which means if the opponent lands a hit against him, it's going to use up double the PP. And he's back to holding an item finally. He felt a little underpowered without the Black Belt in the Kanto Classic, but the hidden power still came through. But anyway, Black Belt will increase the power of whatever fighting type move he uses by, I believe it's 20%. Now for his moveset, we have Discharge on here. It's good for stab, it's good for possibly paralysis if anything except a ground or electric type comes up. It has a, kind of like the burn, I think it's a 1 in 3 chance that Discharge can paralyze. Now of course he still has his hidden power fighting, just for some versatility and getting some powered up with that Black Belt. Now, this is our light screen user for the week. We can rotate him up, get the light screen up, and then when we rotate back into Mega Slowbro Pinky, his his Shell Armor ability will prevent any critical hits from bursting through that light screen. And for some HP recovery, we do have Roost. I really like running Roost on Zapdos because right now his weaknesses are Ice and Rock. The moment I use Roost, his weaknesses to Ice and Rock go away because he basically turns off his Flying type for the turn, and his only weakness at that point is Electric, or he is Electric. His only weakness is Ground. Chances are no one's going to try to use a ground move on Zapdos, so it is usually a free turn to Roost and heal up. For Zapdos' Super Training, it is the same as the Kanto Classic. Maxed out speed, maxed out special attack. We just dropped the remainder of the points into HP for whatever it's going to do, possibly getting some more HP recovery with the Roost. Pokemon number 5 on the team this week is Keaton the Heracross. Now, we've seen him before in the rotation battles as a Mega Heracross. This time he's coming as a Classic Heracross, trying to help the team out. He has a lax nature, which increases defense but lowers special defense. So not super good, but chances are if he's gonna be hit by a special-based flying type move, he's not going to survive that anyway. Unless, as you'll see, he's got the Focus Sash item, which says he will survive 1 hit from full HP without fainting. And his ability is Guts, so if he gets hit by a special condition like Poison or Burn, it's going to increase his physical attack stat, which is already pretty crazy high at 319. For his moveset, we have Close Combat, which is good for stab, and it lowers the defenses of the Pokemon using it, but it's got 120 power, so it is pretty decent. Now for some speed control, we have Rock Tomb on Keaton. Anything we hit with this, nothing's immune to rock. We're going to lower the speed stat by 1 stage, and again, as I said, someone else who's faster might be able to rotate up and get a quick knockout on the following turn. Now, since we don't really have much to deal with the possible Primal Groudon this week, I decided let's go with Earthquake on Keaton. Probably won't get the 1-hit KO, I don't think, but it will do some pretty decent damage, possibly setting up that Primal Groudon for a quick knockout from somebody else. Now, to go with that Focus Sash, we have Counter. I am imagining we might see Mega Rayquaza, and they always love to go for that Dragon Ascent, which is a physical type move. And with Focus Sash, we will survive a single hit from full HP. If we see Mega Rayquaza, I'm going to try to predict when they go for the Dragon Ascent and counter that. Should be a 1-hit knockout on that Mega Evolution legendary Pokemon from Hoenn. Now, Keaton's Super Training, he is also maxed out in speed, much like Zapdos, but he is maxed out in physical attack. So we have 2 fast Pokemon this week. One has special-based offense, and the other has physical-based offense. If I bring them both into the battle, I gotta choose who to bring up and which type of attack to go for. The final Pokemon on the team this week is going to be Shelly the Blissey. You'll see she is a docile Pokemon, which, much like the Brain's serious nature and Arbok's hardy nature, is a neutral nature, so nothing is adjusted for that. And the ability Serene Grace, we're not going to make use of it this week unless something interesting comes from the copycat, but Serene Grace is an ability that increases the chance of a secondary effect happening for the attack that the Pokemon uses. So for example, if she was able to learn Scald, which has a 30% chance to burn, I'm pretty sure Serene Grace doubles that to 60%. In fact, that would be pretty awesome. Why can't Blissey learn Scald? That would be great. Regardless though, we have the Absorb Bulb Held item. This is an item that when you get hit by a water type move, you still take damage from it, but it also increases your special attack, and it's going to kind of go hand in hand with her first move, Grass Knot, because in a pinch, Shelly is going to be our counter to any Primal Kyogre that we see this week. So, if I expect they're going to bring a Primal Kyogre up and go for something like Water Spout or Origin Pulse, I can bring Shelly up, get that Absorb Bulb special attack boost from getting hit by whatever water move. Suddenly, Grass Knot becomes that much more powerful and super effective on that Primal Legendary of Hoenn. Now, for a little more speed control, we do have Thunder Wave on Shelly. It is much like Arbok's Glare, except it is blocked by both electric and ground types, but anything other than that, we're going to be able to get some paralysis off, cutting the speed of the opponent, and possibly making them lose some turns to full paralysis. So Copycat is the next move. It's a move that she had when she hatched as a little Happiny back in Sinnoh, and it's a move she cannot relearn, and I really like it because it makes things interesting. You never know what they're going to go for. If I can get speed control on the opponent, though, if I paralyze them, I then can go for Copycat, knowing what they're going to, what we're going to use, basically. If the opponent goes first in the turn, we're just victim to whatever attack they use, and Copycat will copy that one. But if we can slow them down and we see what they used last time, we're going to know what we're copycatting. And Safeguard is on here because we don't have Safeguard on the team otherwise. If the opponent is bringing a team that could go for some status conditions, we can get the Safeguard up, protecting us from whatever special conditions such as paralysis or burn or something that we're going to be possibly hit with. Now, for Shelly's Super Training, we put a lot into the special attack to make more power into that Grass Knot, and we put a lot into the physical defense and a tiny little bit into special defense. She is going to be pretty good if we can get these screens up first and then rotate up, especially if we can get that light screen up. It's going to increase her special defense effectively to 450. So that is the team for this week's Pokemon Omega Ruby Rotation Battles. It's going to be fun getting back into it because we did take a week off for the Kanto Classic, and it was a different format. It was single battles, no held items. So I'm back to standard team building as I've been doing for the past several weeks before the Kanto Classic took place. So, now that you've seen the team, if you like what you see, or if you have any suggestions for improvements or other ideas for the team, feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and if you have the improvements to mention, feel free to drop that in the comment. It can help me for some future battles to try to put some more team building ideas together. But for anyone else that wants to sort of recreate some of the Pokemon I'm using, it could help them see how they could fit into a team as well. With that, we're going to end off the team builder today. Come on back to the channel tomorrow so we can check out the actual rotation battles as they occur in the free battle in Battle Spot in Omega Ruby. With all that, we're going to end off the video. Thank you everybody for checking out the team builder, and I'll catch you next time.